Today we're going to make a small tarp head sail. I know a lot of people would like to know how to make a sail, and so this is basically a cross-cut sail, but made in just a few steps because I'm going to use a poly tarp to make it. Dacron would be better. First step is to lay out, okay, what are your dimensions? The luff, the foot, and the leech. In my case, I have a 3-meter luff, a 1-meter foot, and then I made the leech whatever reaches fine. Now, you know that the clue can be at any particular different spot as long as the foot is that length. There's an arc. So it's about a right angle in my case. If you have a sheet point on your boat, then your actual clue spot is determined by where that sheet point is, and you determine that by taking a line from where your sheet point is, from say like where my shoe is right now, okay, and drawing a line up to about the top third, because that's how the angle that you want to make in order to make the clue and the sail work properly. The next step in making this is to make a luff curve. Okay, so you got to push the luff out. The reason you do that is because when the sail is flying, there has to be extra fabric in order to create a belly in the sail. That's called camber by sailmakers. I want only a 10% camber, okay? So, and that's pretty typical for jibs. If you sail in a very windy area, you might want to make it less. And if you sail in a very light wind area, you might want to make it a little bit more. In order to make it 10% of camber, though, you have to use some math that you learned way back in high school about circles, and basically to determine how much push-up. But I'll be easy on you guys and just tell you that in order to make a 10% camber, you need 2.7% longer distance from the luff to the leech. And that'll give you a 10% belly down after you hang it. In which case, since this is a little tiny thing, this one's going to end up just, like a centimeter over. This one's going to be about 2 centimeters over, and this one's going to be about 4 centimeters over. That's about it. Okay. You see now that the luff is no longer straight. Now I may have pushed it out a little bit further than the 2.7%, just because the way I finish this sail is I fold over the luff, so I had to add a seam allowance. Okay, at this stage you're going to cover the string with the fabric and cut along the string. It's that simple. Do try to orient the fabric so that the fabric is aligned so that it's perpendicular to the leech, or parallel to the foot in this case. Not a huge issue, but it will last longer if you do that. I will try to smooth out those wrinkles before I cut it. At this point, if you chose to reinforce the corners and add your edging, the sail would fly, but it wouldn't point very well because all the camber will be in the center of the sail. So what you want to do is place the camber further forward in the sail. And you do that by sewing a couple of darts along the luff. And the darts have to have a specific shape. The shape is pretty important, but with this kind of a sail, a tiny thing like this, what you really want to do is have the width of the final seam just extend from the last quarter, half of the width for the last quarter, and the first 3/4 do the other half. It's not complicated. It's just called broad seaming, and it's really not. It's important. Where you start the broad seam, though, is where you want to place your camber. In most jibs, you want it about 35% forward. So that's where you're going to cut slits, 35% of the length at the quarter, half, and maybe up there at a quarter, but probably not, because it'll be too short. And you want it to be, you want your seam, the amount of the seam, how much broad you bring in, is related to how stretchy the fabric is. In firm fabric, you want it about 1 to 30, and this isn't firm fabric by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the ratio I'm going to use anyway, just because more shape is better than not enough. There you see the longest of the broad seams. Okay. And there's the one in the center, and then just a little tiny one up there. That's all you need to do, just to make sure that the camber is placed where you want it in the forward part of the sail. I'm going to put another little dart right along the leech there, just to tighten up the leech. And since I don't want any foot round, I'll probably do a little one there too at the foot. But I might, then all you have to do is reinforce the corners, add your grommets or straps. I like straps personally. And you're done. It's a sail. Now I should mention that this, the luff is, this fabric is really not very tough, so it can't really support a whole lot of load, so I'm going to reinforce that with a little string, but that shouldn't be too hard, a little Kevlar kite string. And now you see the finished product. It's not flying all that well right now because there's no wind, but I'm sure it'll fly just fine.